Hi there, it's Mark Bowyer from Rusty Compass. In our last video, we travelled by road from Dien Bien Phu in northwestern Vietnam to a place called Muang Khua in Laos, in northern Laos, as part of a longer journey between Dien Bien Phu and Luang Prabang, the former royal capital. We spent a night in Muang Khua and then we set off for Nong Khiaw along the Nam Mu River. And we're headed today, or we're planning to head to Nong Khiaw and take the slow boat down the Nam Mu, I think that's how you say it, the Nam Mu rather than the Nam Mu River. Take one of these boats down and we'll spend a night at least there. So it's a 5-hour ride. We're waiting for others to join. We've only got 5 people at the moment, and if they don't have 10 they charge a major premium, so we're hoping to find another 5. We have 3 people.
3 people?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much?
I don't know. More people. 10 people, 120.
10 people, 120.
Yeah.
3 people, 120. This was our Laotian boatman, a lovely bloke, and we spoke together in English for a bit and then worked out that we could have more fun speaking Vietnamese, so we quickly switched to Vietnamese. We also were accompanied on the boat by some Vietnamese as well. Anh nói được tiếng Việt Nam không?
Viết nhỏ.
Viết ít thôi.
Ít thôi.
Viết ít thôi à?
Nói đi có gì chứ?
Không, em là người Việt Nam à?
Người Việt Nam.
Thế. Em không, chỉ muốn em nói được tiếng Lào không?
Lào nói ít thôi.
So we bade farewell to Muang Khua and headed off towards Nong Khiaw. I keep saying those names because it's good exercise for me, and it also means that hopefully if you're heading this way you might remember the names as well. Our first stop along the way was to make a delivery to this gold dredging machine in the middle of the Nam Mu River. Looked like something out of a Mad Max film. The guys on board were Vietnamese, so we managed to have a bit of a chat with them. It's a cracking piece of old metal. Run by Vietnamese guys. Quê anh ở đâu anh ạ? Quê anh ở đâu? There was a team of 6 Vietnamese guys working on this thing, and they told me that they hadn't yet struck it rich. If they had, they wouldn't be here anymore. Anh sống ở đây lâu chưa?
2 năm.
2 năm.
Vâng.
Làm ở đây một mình hay có nhiều người làm?
Lúc làm thì là có 6 người.
Có tìm như vàng chưa?
Chưa.
Chưa à? Đang tìm.
Đang đi tìm.
Anh chưa giàu.
Chưa.
Sắp.
Giàu là về Hà Nội thôi.
À. So it turns out this is a pretty comfortable way to travel. There's not a whole lot of leg room, and I'm glad there aren't too many more people on the boat. But the noise is not bad, which has been one of the problems we often deal with in these boats. And it's a very pleasant speed we're moving at. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty easy, enjoyable, relaxing 5-hour ride. Pretty soon this became one of the most beautiful river journeys I've ever taken. We were surrounded by dense forest on both sides. I'm no expert, but it looked like a lot of this forest had never been logged. We also began to encounter these beautiful karst limestone landscapes, which would be with us then for the rest of our time in northern Laos. Our final stop before hitting Nong Khiaw was a place called Muang Khua, which is a favourite backpacker party town. Well, I think it's a fairly low-key party, but it's very much a backpacker colony. And it's a popular place for chilling. It's a popular place for walking. There are caves, and there are some local ethnic minority villages as well. It is a beautiful spot, so it's easy to see how it's become so popular. We didn't actually stay there though. Our boatman was delivering a fairly huge amount of scrap metal. As a passenger on these boats, you might come to think that you are what this is all about, but in fact these boats are carrying a lot of freight, a lot more weight and freight than they are carrying in people. And so this is the real business end of the expedition for the boat owner. He's out there with his books, and the boys are weighing up all the metal he's brought along for the ride. It's a fairly noisy experience as well. With our boat sitting much higher in the water now, having offloaded so much weight, we commenced the 1 hour journey to Nong Khiaw. It had been a fantastic boat trip, and Nong Khiaw was a beautiful place to finish up as well. Okay, so this is our digs for the night. Looking pretty damn good for under $50 as well. There's the afternoon view of the Namul River. We're heading up to the top of the viewpoint. It'll be interesting to see what it's like up here. It's a beautiful afternoon, leaving at about 4 p.m. Well, that's quite a walk. As you can see, I'm a tad sweaty, but it's beautiful. We didn't actually make it to the top. We got about 75% of the way up and realised the sun was disappearing on us. So we made a fairly hasty dash to the bottom. But it was a beautiful spectacle. The next morning we headed straight to Luang Prabang. Our time in Nong Khiaw was cut short, unfortunately. I had killed an insect in my ear back in Dien Bien Phu before we embarked on this expedition, and by the time we got to Nong Khiaw, the infection in my ear was getting very serious. As a result, I decided it was probably time for me to see a doctor, so we headed straight to Luang Prabang. It wasn't the most reassuring medical experience of my life, but the infection did ultimately clear up, and we had a fantastic time in Luang Prabang. In our next video, we'll show you around Luang Prabang. I can't really make a video about travels along the Namul River without mentioning that there is a huge amount of dam building going on along both the Namul and the Mekong rivers in this part of Laos. And there are a variety of views on the likely impact of these dams. Most of the projections are not good, both for the ecosystems that live in these complicated rivers, and also for the communities that live downstream from the dams, all the way along to the Mekong Delta in Vietnam. So spare a thought as you're travelling in this part of Laos for the future of the Mekong River, and the future of the Namul, and the future of the people who live along, who depend on these rivers both for food and for water. Travelling here, it's easy to miss completely what's really happening to these rivers.